Parashat Vaera. It is fascinating that in last week's portion of Parashat Shemot, at the burning bush, God asks Moses to become the leader of the Jewish people and to go to Pharaoh. And Moses demurs. And he demurs because he tells God that he's heavy of speech. He's a kvad peh. And God says to him, but I'm the person who gives one speech. I'm able to take care of that very easily. Now here, once again, in Exodus chapter 6, God speaks to Moses, and he asks Moses to speak to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, that he should send Israel out of his land. And Moses again says to God, Hein b'nei Yisrael lo shamu elai. The Jewish people will not listen to me. Ve'ech yishma'eni paro. So how can I expect Pharaoh to listen to me? I am heavy of speech. Ani aral svatayim. What is this kind of obsession that Moses has with what appears to be a kind of speech defect? And God already said he would take care of it for him. Now one thing is clear. And what's clear is that Moses understood that an important part of leadership is speaking ability. To be the kind of individual who can move crowds with words, inspire people, get them to do things, and here inspire them with freedom. But again, and therefore Moses says he won't be able to lead. Now what I want to understand is, first of all, why does he keep repeating it? God said he could take care of the speech defect. And secondly, why does God choose a leader with a speech defect? It would have been very easy for God to have created Moses in the first place, mellifluous of tongue, a magnificent orator, Churchill-esque, lahavdil. And I want to explain two things. First of all, perhaps one of the reasons that Moses has a speech defect, if indeed he has, as I will speak of later, but if indeed Moses has a speech defect, it's because God is giving Moses his Torah. And the Jews accept the Torah. And the Jews accept Moses' leadership. And perhaps what God is teaching, having chosen one of heavy speech, God wanted to make certain that no one could say Moses hypnotized the people with his speaking ability. Like Havdil Elef Havdalot, Hitler Yimach Shemo v'Zichro could do. Because he was a magnetic speaker. And God specifically chose someone who was heavy of speech because it wasn't the way he spoke that moved the crowds, but ultimately it was the truth of Torah and the message of Moses and of God that moved Israel to seek freedom. But I believe there is even a deeper message here. Moses says again and again, I'm heavy of speech. I have an uncircumcised tongue. I think what he means with the heavy of speech and a heavy tongue, what he was really saying was, I'm not good at light banter. I'm not good at small talk. After all, it also says, Moshe says very clearly within this very context in chapter 6, the children of Israel do not listen to me, mikotzer ruach ume'avodah kasha, because of impatience and hard work. Usually it means the impatience of the Jews and the hard work of the Jews. And they were working so hard as slaves, they couldn't begin to dream, and they certainly couldn't begin to dream about freedom. That's probably accepted by most of the authorities, most of the commentaries. But Gersonides, the Ralbag, says no. The hard work and the impatience was Moses' hard work and impatience. Moses says, I know in order to convince the people, I have to be a man of the people. I have to be with them. I have to banter with them. I have to small talk with them. I have to go to their bar mitzvahs. I have to go to their weddings. I have to ask how their mother-in-law feels. That's not me. I'm a man of heavy speech. I'm a man who can only speak heavy things. I can speak with God very well. I can't speak with Mrs. Schwartz and Mr. Hershkowitz. That's not me. And that's why when God said, I can make you, cure you of any speech defect, it wasn't a speech defect that was bothering him. There probably wasn't ever a real speech defect in that sense. Maybe yes, maybe no. But that wasn't the issue. Moses says, I'm not good at small talk. And the truth is, when one speaks to God and is able to understand God's Torah, when one's active intellect kisses the active intellect of God, as Maimonides explains it, that same individual can't really speak banter and small talk. He can never truly be a man of the people, who can drink with the people a good l'chaim, who can joke with the people. That was not Moses. And therefore, at the end of the day, he didn't truly convince the people. He never convinced them to enter the land of Israel. Vis-a-vis the people in his generation, he really didn't succeed. But he succeeded with the people and the nation for all generations, because thanks to Moses and his heaviness of speech, we have God's Torah. And that's the greatest success of all. Shabbat Shalom.